Have you ever felt the tremor in your own voice, that fragile crack where youth slips into the unknown, echoing the silent battles we all wage against the inexorable march of change, like a whisper in a crowded room that suddenly demands to be heard? Or perhaps you've encountered a stranger whose shadow looms like fate itself, pulling you into a duet of discord and harmony, where every note carries the weight of unspoken pacts, much like those fleeting alliances in history's underbelly, from samurai oaths to modern-day unlikely bonds that redefine loyalty. Imagine the faint hum of fluorescent lights flickering over worn microphone cords, the metallic tang of anticipation lingering in the air like forgotten rain on city streets, and a silence so thick it presses against your chest, broken only by a hesitant melody that tastes of desperation and defiance. Let's Go Karaoke. Episode 1 isn't merely a title, it's a siren's call, a veiled invocation to step into the liminal space between innocence and peril, a prophecy etched in neon glow that you've unknowingly hummed in your quietest moments, reminiscent of those golden-era anime where schoolyard dreams collide with the gritty undercurrents of the world, like the raw, rebellious spirit of early 90s tales that stirred your adolescent fire. Remember the echoes of odd couple sagas from classics like Great Teacher Onizuka or My Neighbor the Yamadas, where mismatched souls forge unbreakable ties amid chaos? This episode doesn't just nod to them, it resurrects that yearning pulse, infusing it with a fresh, visceral urgency that tugs at the strings of your own hidden harmonies, demanding you surrender to its rhythm. What if this melody could unravel the fractures in your daily facade? Would you dare to sing along? In this universe where the mundane halls of a middle school choir club intersect with the shadowed alleys of Yakuza hierarchies. Released on July 24, 2025, we meet Satomi Oka, a boy whose every breath carries the scar of transition, his fingers trembling on sheet music as if grasping at fading echoes of certainty, much like you might clutch a childhood memento during life's abrupt turns. His dilemma isn't just notes slipping from grasp, it's the raw ache of identity fracturing under puberty's unrelenting gaze, a mirror to those historical rites of passage where boys became men amid trials of fire. Then there's Kyuji Narita, a figure cloaked in ink and intimidation, yet burdened by a voice that betrays him like a treacherous ally in ancient feuds, his devious grin hiding the dread of consequences that could mark him forever. Voiced by Shun Hori, Satomi's tones quiver with a vulnerability that seeps into your own memories of awkward stumbles, while Daisuke Ono's Kyuji delivers a controlled ferocity laced with charm, his timbre trembling in feigned discord to capture the soul of a man feigning weakness. Have you ever heard a voice that pretends to falter, yet pulls you deeper, like Ono's masterful pretense here, echoing the deceptive cadences of iconic anti-heroes? Picture yourself there, in the dim karaoke booth, the air thick with the scent of stale smoke and fresh resolve. Don't Satomi's wide eyes reflect your own hesitations, and Kyuji's looming presence stir that thrill of forbidden camaraderie? As their worlds entwine in this superb orchestration around the central enigma of a voice lesson turned lifeline, you can't help but lean in. What hidden wound in your past would you expose for such an unlikely savior? Deeper still, the episode plunges into the philosophical undercurrents, where the sting of solitude meets the gamble of sacrifice, much like philosophers pondering fate's cruel jests or historical figures bartering souls for glory. Satomi's internal storm, that silent scream against a body in rebellion, mirrors your own quiet wars with self-doubt, questioning if freedom lies in embracing the discord or fleeing it, akin to the existential dilemmas in tales like Camus' strangers navigating absurd bonds. Kyuji, propelled by a legacy of loyalty that demands perfection or punishment, forces you to confront the moral haze. What would you forfeit for harmony, when every off-key note tastes like ash from burned bridges? Feel the weight of these unvoiced queries pressing like a hand on your shoulder. Aren't these the same fractures that define our identities, the sacrifices we make in shadowed corners of life, leaving you to wonder how far you'd harmonize with danger to reclaim your voice? Visually, Doga Kobo's animation weaves a tapestry of fluid grace and deliberate tension, where camera angles dip low to amplify Kyuji's imposing shadow, casting you into the booth's confines as if you're huddled there, heart racing. Shadows dance like reluctant partners, pooling in corners to foreshadow unspoken threats, while bursts of color, vibrant shifts during karaoke crescendos, ignite the screen like fireworks in a storm, their warmth contrasting the cool desaturation of schoolyard anxieties, evoking the gritty palettes of urban legends where light pierces despair. Imagine the stillness of a held breath, motion exploding in sharp, gritty flourishes that mirror life's chaotic scrambles. Doesn't this interplay of light and dark feel like the chiaroscuro in Renaissance masterpieces, pulling you into the frame, questioning if the beauty in such tension isn't the very pulse of existence you've chased in your own shadowed moments? Some murmur that the pace lingers like a hesitant melody, an uneventful drift through familiar tropes. Yet, this deliberate cadence isn't a stumble but a symphony's breath, allowing allowing the subtle alchemy of connection to brew, transforming potential quietude into an intimate embrace that fast rhythms could never forge. The flame of innovation always risks flickering low. We must cease deeming slice-of-life icons outdated. Some even claim the odd couple dynamic is a relic, so it's hard to fathom that in emotional depth and character interplay, this episode revolutionizes the form, yet this episode revolutionizes the form, so it's hard to fathom that in emotional depth and character interplay, the odd couple dynamic is a relic. Some even claim slice-of-life icons outdated. We must cease deeming the flame of innovation always risks flickering low. The soundtrack emerges as a spectral companion, haunting with karaoke strains that elevate the mundane to mythic. QG's off-key warbles punch like a physical jolt, their raw discord wrapping around your senses like the bitter aftertaste of regret, while motifs of choral purity hum a fragile hope, reminiscent of operatic swells in historical epics that scored revolutions. In moments of auditory void, the absence amplifies intimacy, a vacuum sucking you into the booth's echo, where every lyric lingers like a question. Haven't you felt music disturb your core, much like these tracks that blend carefree exuberance with underlying dread, urging you to replay life's discordant symphonies? And then, the pivot arrives, a collision of destinies where hesitation shatters into clarity, a gut-wrenching flash that redefines alliances, leaving the air charged with the scent of impending storm. Feel it build, like the tension before a historical turning point, from whispers of doubt to an eruption that echoes your own crossroads. What profound truth hangs in that suspended note, compelling you to confront if such revelations aren't the keys to your own locked melodies. Not every harmony begs to be heard. Some seize your throat, demanding you join the chorus, to immerse in the marrow of this episode and unearth truths that might harmonize the discord in your soul. Are you ready to grasp the microphone? To Let's Go Karaoke, Episode 1 redefine your echoes, stepping off this precipice into a world where every off-key breath could be your salvation or your unraveling. Have you ever felt the quiver of a choice that could unravel everything you've built, like a single note threatening to collapse a fragile melody, much like those pivotal moments in life where courage and fear dance in lockstep? Or perhaps you've tasted the bitter edge of trust, where the promise of harmony teeters on the brink of betrayal, echoing the fragile alliances of history's shadowed pacts, from whispered wartime truces to the unspoken bonds that hold us to strangers. Picture the dim glow of a karaoke booth, its walls pulsing with the faint thrum of a city's heartbeat, the air heavy with the scent of spilled sake and nervous sweat, each breath carrying the weight of secrets too dangerous to voice. Let's Go Karaoke. Episode 2 isn't just a continuation, it's a whispered pact, a fractured mirror reflecting the jagged edges of your own hesitations, a half-remembered anthem that stirs the embers of your youth, much like the raw, rebellious spirit of 90s anime like Yu Yu Hakusho or Slam Dunk, where unlikely duos forged bonds amid chaos. Remember those electric nights when you first discovered the thrill of stories that dared to blend the mundane with the perilous, where every chord struck a nerve? This episode rekindles that fire, not as nostalgia, but as a living pulse that demands you step into its rhythm, heart pounding, as if you're there, clutching the mic, wondering if harmony is worth the risk. What hidden melody in your soul would you bear to keep a promise? In this universe, where the sterile halls of a choir club clash with the smoky underbelly of Yakuza intrigue, released on July 31st, 2025, Satomi Oka stands at a crossroads, his voice a trembling thread stretched taut between innocence and necessity, his wide eyes reflecting a world that's shifting faster than he can sing. Like a young samurai facing his first duel, torn between honor and survival, Kyuji Narita, draped in the weight of his inked legacy, carries a smirk that hides a storm, his every gesture a calculated dance to mask the dread of failure, reminiscent of those historical rogues who played both hero and villain. Shun Hori's voice for Satomi quivers with a raw fragility, each note cracking like your own heart did in moments of doubt, while Daisuke Ono's Kyuji weaves a seductive menace, his cadence a velvet blade that cuts deep, evoking the charismatic danger of anime's greatest anti-heroes. Feel the booth's flickering light on your skin, the hum of the mic in your palm. Don't Satomi's trembling hands mirror your own moments of vulnerability, and Kyuji's shadowed gaze stir that thrill of trusting the untrustworthy? Their unlikely duet, a superb orchestration around the central tension of a promise teetering on collapse, pulls you into their orbit. When have you staked your heart on someone who could destroy you? The episode dives into the marrow of trust's double-edged blade, where loyalty is a gamble and betrayal a shadow waiting to strike, much like the moral quagmires of ancient betrayals or modern dilemmas where faith in another costs everything. Satomi's silent screams, wrestling with a voice that betrays his body's changes, echo your own battles with identity's shifting sands. Don't we all fear the moment our true selves falter under scrutiny? Kyuji's dance with duty, where every note he coaches carries the weight of unspoken debts, forces you to question. What would you risk for a bond forged forged in desperation, when trust tastes like the ash of burned promises. These unvoiced questions linger like a fog, wrapping you in their weight, urging you to ponder the sacrifices you've made in life's quiet corners. Doga Kobo's animation is a fever dream of emotion, where low angles amplify Kyuji's looming presence, making you feel small, as if you're cowering in his shadow, while Dutch tilts disorient during tense exchanges, mirroring the vertigo of trust's fragility. Shadows curl like reluctant confidants, pooling in corners to hint at secrets yet unveiled, while vibrant bursts of karaoke lights, neon pinks and blues, explode like hope against the desaturated grays of Satomi's fears, evoking the stark contrasts of noir films where light battles despair. The animation's texture, sharp yet fluid, feels like a gritty ballad, pulling you into the scene. Doesn't this interplay of motion and stillness remind you of life's own pauses before chaos, where every choice hangs like a held breath? Some whisper the episode leans too heavily on dialogue, a slow unraveling of tension. Yet, this measured pace is no flaw, but a deliberate weave, letting each word sink into your bones, transforming talk into a battlefield where trust is won or lost, a masterstroke that rapid cuts could never match. The flame of innovation risks dimming. We must stop calling character-driven tales outdated. Some deem the mentor-student trope a relic, so it's hard to believe this episode redefines it with raw intimacy. So it's hard to believe the mentor-student trope a relic. Some deem character-driven tales outdated. We must stop calling the flame of innovation risks dimming. The soundtrack is a phantom presence, its karaoke melodies weaving a spell. Kyuji's strained notes hit like a punch, raw and discordant, while Satomi's tentative harmonies hum with fragile hope, reminiscent of operatic laments that scored historical epics. Moments of silence, heavy as a held confession, amplify the intimacy, pulling you into the booth's echo, where every lyric feels like a plea. Haven't you felt a song grip your soul, much like these tracks that blend exuberance with dread, urging you to replay your own moments of trust and doubt? Then comes the turning point, a collision of promises and peril, where a single gesture shatters the fragile balance, leaving the air thick with the scent of impending reckoning. It's a moment that feels like history's betrayals, from Judas' kiss to modern alliances broken in silence. What truth lies in that fleeting glance, and what question does it carve into your heart, demanding you confront the cost of trust? Not every story asks to be seen. Some seize your pulse, demanding you live their truth, to feel. Let's Go Karaoke, Episode 2 in your very marrow. Are you ready to step into the booth, to let its melodies unravel your own guarded secrets, and discover if trust can sing louder than betrayal?